Hello, Terry here, Hot Wrench Fabrication. Being joined by Mike from MT Auto Electric.
Hey, good morning.
So obviously we're on this series for wiring up this here car. This is a Buckshot and saw the first video that we did. Got a lot of work in this thing. So we built a new panel. Obviously we had to strip the whole car down first, but built a new panel, and now we're pretty much have everything kind of laid out the way we're going to do it, and we need to start drilling holes and running the wires throughout. We have a list of stuff to do over yonder, which is pretty big. Putting a switch pro system in there, building the dash harness, wiring up his lights, fuse panel, mirrors, brake lights. We're adding brake lights. He didn't have those before. A new antenna cable, because the old antenna cable, I don't even know how it worked. It wasn't right at all. We mounted a third brake light, some rock lights, dome light, and put it back together. So we've done a lot of really cool little intricacies. Installed a new quick disconnect, and I also utilized his old Buckshot button, which is kind of cool. I had to actually mill it all out on my lathe, but I made that work. Obviously we made a new panel, and we put the third brake light in already, so I can kind of mark that off. So that's a brake and a tail light. And I had to make some bars for this because it didn't have any support and the fenders were bouncing. Made little plugs to keep the sand out of here, so just done a bunch of work. But this whole day today is about starting to drill some holes and get wires run. So we got a hole right here. So this big old thing had some kind of loose plastic sheathing on there, which looked horrible, but it was just zip tied to the bars down there, and so it's gonna be nice. And this, we have the integrated disconnect on the dash system here.
Heated seat switches.
So all that part's going together. So it'd be cool. So you literally just unplug a couple of these and then pull the whole dash out, and you don't have to worry about ripping wires and disconnecting all that stuff. And then Switch Pro, mounted a little panel right here. It's pretty cool. It's a good place for it. So lots going on. Thanks for joining. We'll keep you guys in tune to where we're at. Okay, so working on covering these holes. And my OCD is getting a little twitchy right now because whoever drilled these holes did a horrible job. They got them pretty evenly spaced, but obviously a little crooked. And then we got up over here. What's going on here? What, they're gonna put another hole here? What happened? Can't have that. There's really no clean way to fill these. You could put little rubber plugs or something in there, but that's not great looking. So came up with this little gizmo, which I think is going to look pretty good. And that'll have nice little stainless steel screws on there. A little form around there, and then I'll do this one black because everything else is black. So I think that'll look nice. So that's what I'm going to go. That's what I'm going to do. That was pretty easy. Cut that out of some aluminum. So I've been working all day, but you can't really tell because it's a lot of just drilling and stuff. Drilled these holes for rock lights going in here. Did mount the dome light. Drilled holes and put that in. Got all the rock lights buttoned up as far as the holes and stuff, and mounting. Drilled and tapped the frame. So that took quite a bit of time. We got some stuff over here that we just done did it. So Switch Pro is actually mounted. Dash harness is pretty much done. Baja lights wiring is not done. Fuse panel assembly is built. Mirrors now. Wiring now. Brake light switch, I did put that on. I don't know if I showed you guys that. Not much to see, just put a T in there and then put that switch right there. And then put the other line one right here. So pretty simple. He didn't have a brake light switch, but he's got one now. Brake light wiring is not done. The antenna not done. Mounting, that we did that. Wiring's not done. Rock lights installed-ish. We'll put half a check. Wiring's definitely not done. Dome light wiring is not done. And pull all the wiring still has to be done. So got some stuff to do, but got some of that stuff knocked off the list. And my boy Mike over here is doing some cool stuff. I don't think he's ready to show you, but he's doing cool stuff. So when he's done with all this, he's going to go through and tell you guys what he did and how he wired it up.
Yeah,
It's actually
pretty good.
pretty badass. So we'll come back to that.
Trying to get it clean.
All right, so I'm getting these all laid out, and I'm using these Clecos. I don't know if you guys are familiar with these or not. If you've been around fabrication anytime, should be familiar with them. It's an aviation deal. But I laid out and drilled all my 1/8-inch holes in here first. Kind of the way I wanted them to look relatively even. And then if you just go in there and try and hold this, start drilling, this thing's going to move around. You could put a screw in there. A lot of people use rivets. So you can put one hole, put your rivet in, and so on and so forth. But I still have to powder coat this, and wanted this to be all done before I powder coated it. So you use Clecos. So it's pretty cool. Little dealio. You literally, oh my gosh. Hold please. Set this down, and the drill bit was loose. Excuse me. So yeah, you just drill your hole. Then, I'm trying to do this with one hand. It's not working out very well, so yeah, just put your Cleco in there. And when you push it, it spreads open. So you can put it in the hole. Put it in the hole. And then when you let go, it sucks it down and it holds it in there. So it's basically, rivet size. It's 1/8 of an inch is what it's made for. But I'm going to use these teeny tiny little screws. It's a 440 tapered. So it'll get that bolted in there. It'll look real nice. And then I have to go through with the tapered bit, taper all these, get these cleaned up. So I'll drill them a hole first, taper them all, powder coat it, let it cool, bolt it on, bada bing, bada boom over here. Huh? So Mike has been working on this panel for many, many moons.
Many moons.
And pretty freaking sick what he came up with on this thing. So typically, we've used these before. They're pretty neat little units. They have one power and usually one ground, and then you power all that stuff up, and then you can just use whatever you have to use. But the problem is sometimes we need ignition power and regular power all the time, and then like ground side switch, power side switch, which you typically can't do with this setup. But
So,
And that's when you come in.
yeah. Well, we needed a way to have an ignition power, right? On a sand car, they don't have like a key and that you could just turn on to make ignition power. So we use the switch probe for that. We use switch position 1 on the switch pro as an ignition power type switch, but it's limited. It's only got 20 amps. So we need a way to make more ignition power. And it's nice to utilize one of these fuse panel and relay boxes, but they're limited in function. This particular one we've used on other applications. They have a 4 relay, a 6 relay, depending on how many circuits that you need to do. But the limitation is it's a battery controlled box, which means everything's battery powered, and it is only power side switched box to activate the relays. Its general design is a single ground with individual relay controls for the power side. Well, in this application, we want to have brake lights. So the best way to do brake lights is add in a brake light switch. Did you show them the cool switch?
I did show them, but
Yeah.
we're going to show it again.
So we add in a brake light switch on the hydraulic system.
Yeah, so this switch right here operates off the pressure. So one side will go to ground, and then when it's activated, it connects that to, then that ground goes to...
It'll send the ground back to the relay panel, but then that means I need a ground side switched relay. Now I could put power on that switch and do a power side switch on the brakes, but I'd sooner not have voltage at that switch down there. It's open to the elements. It's a lot better to ground side switch it. So what I do in order to facilitate that is I'll bring that ground side switch back here. So I took this box and disassembled it. So it's a nice box, comes all pre-assembled. It's nice factory connections. It's a quality box. So what I did is took the one relay, this one right here, and I cut off the ground wire to the relay coil. And I am going to be connecting that ground wire from the relay coil to our brake light switch wire, which means when we push the brakes, the pressure closes the switch, it'll send ground down this pink wire to the ground side of that relay. That relay is hooked to power on the white wire, which is the positive side of the coil right there.
Yep.
So when you push the pedal, it'll ground that switch. That wire is hooked to power already. Click, that relay will close, and it will send brake light power out this yellow wire right here.
Yeller.
So then we'll have converted all of that into a brake light signal, a power signal that we'll send back to the lights in the back, and then be able to have brake lights along with our taillights. The other function is sometimes we need ignition power, and sometimes we need battery power. Well, I didn't want the limitation of either having to have two boxes, so I created this box and split it directly in half. This front half, these two relays and these set of fuses are all battery power. The back half, these two relays and all these fuses are now ignition powered. So when the switch pro sends a signal back and activates this relay, it sends power to this side and effect making it ignition power. So these are only key on. These ones will work with just the battery. So I separated the box inside. So it's a nice box because it has, if you can see that shiny strip, kind of wavy strip in there, I severed that right in the middle, in effect separating the two halves. This half over here will be ignition. This half over here will be battery power.
That's like a power bus bar where they just hook power to a few, but it lights them all up.
Yep.
But instead of that, he split it in the middle.
Yeah, so you can see where I
see
broke it right
there. Yeah, you
there.
can tell there's a gap.
Yep. So I separated it right there. And I am using one of this relay right here to create that ignition power. So Switch Pro turns this relay on. That relay gives power to the strip, that metal strip in here, effect making it ignition powered. And then that gives me four available fuses for ignition power fuses, extra. And it gives me an ignition-powered relay if we need that for some application as well.
And we already swapped those
Yep. And then so these are all
Chinese relays out for the Boschers.
So that's the Bosch relays that are protected by resistors, so there's not going to be any flyback voltage. And then I'll terminate all this up. It will go back here in the back corner.
Going back to the back corner. Here we go.
And once I get her done, it'll
Get
mount.
her done.
It'll mount up right there. It'll have all connectors, and then that means it's removable. Everything's removable. You don't have to cut wires. Everything will be made with connectors and be fully removable and serviceable, which is nice. And then the seat sits here, so it's can't see it anyway, but it's clean. And you'll be able to reach down behind the seat and access all this, or you could come through this bottom panel right here to access fuses and relays. So pretty cool feature.
That'll be nice.
Yep. And we'll just have a wire coming from this is a battery positive post. We'll just come over and connect to this circuit breaker. So this breaker will be protecting all the circuitry here besides the circuits themselves having their own protection. So we're protected and protected and protected. I like to be protected.
Yes. All right.
Yeah. Any questions? It's a wonderful piece of equipment.
I don't think they asked anything.
Oh, okay. Well,
They got it.
hey, put it down in the comments if you got any questions. Can't give you all my trade secrets, but I'll help you out.
All our secrets, and you guys can do it yourself. You won't need us. Yeah, so all this up here, this is already protected through itself, but there won't be any fuses up here because this is a little bit of a pain to get to. So all the fuses are back there on this, which is very easy to get to, as opposed to what we had there before. There was fuses from front end to back, just running random stuff. I think the radio stuff was fused up here.
Yeah, just inline
And
fuses.
then there was those fuses back there under the seat, but very difficult to actually get to them. So should be able to see them now. That's cool. That's real nice. So yeah, that's almost done. Then we can start stringing wires and continue on. All right, next morning we got a lot of wiring to do. So we got, I don't know where we're at on this. Got this thing done, pretty nice. Instead of this Velcroed and strapped to the frame, got it running through here. We actually have to had to drill out all the way through here, and then it comes out this way, so it looks nice. But I think we're pretty much done with the fab work. Got the mirrors on. I ended up having to make a little plastic collar in there that went over exposed the shaft that I didn't like that look. These are just temporary. Just kind of lay this out to see where we're going to put these. But these mirrors are pretty cool. So I think all the fab work is actually done, which is my department. That panel's pretty much finished up. Turned out pretty cool. And starting on a little bit of the cabling back here. Of course, this all needs to be kind of cleaned up still, but for the most part, we're all kind of where it needs to be. I took the ground apart. They had a bunch of different eyelets. These guys, these nasty ones. There was 5 of them on there, I think, with all the individual wires. So I took all of those off and made 5 wires into one eyelet, and then this one goes to the ground, so that one's separate. So that's nice, and I ground the paint off of that stud. We had put that right over the paint, so still okay, because it's getting grounded on the top, but we like everything to be real clean and sanitary, so that's done. And then we got to drill holes and just figure out, see, we have it all laid out, which way everything's going and where the holes need to be, and just a lot of prep work to laying things out. Excuse me. Get the wires back to this guy, and our little list is getting some stuff done. Baja lights are wired. That's pretty much done. Check. Side mirrors are not wired yet. Brake light, cable, so all that wiring still has to be done. So it's going to be a good day though. We got lots of pulling and drilling. You have anything to say to YouTube?
Good morning. I was just looking at our list over there.
It's a good list.
Trucking along. Fine piece of art, takes time.
Yep.
What are we on? What is today? Thursday? Been working on it since Saturday.
10 to 11 hours every day.
I wish it could take a day, but it doesn't.
We just watched a video, and the guy was bragging about how he wired his car in
A day and a half.
day and a half.
And
It took us a day and a half just to pull the panels off this thing.
Taken apart.
But he ran everything with tie wraps on the whole entire car.
But it's okay. People do different stuff, different ways, and it's okay.
Yeah.
This is how we like to do it.
And they said all this tie straps are temporary. They're just laying it out. We're going to make it nice after that.
Yeah,
None of that will be there.
The mirrors come with its own harness, so you're kind of stuck with what you get with a very high-end mirror like this, and it's a pretty elaborate harness. But the switch, as you saw on the dash, does a lot of things. So the switch is very electronic, and it tells the mirrors, there's like 3 or 4 different functions that they can do. They can do turn signals. We don't have turn signals. So the harness is pre-made, so you're kind of stuck with what you got. So you have to,
we didn't want to depin it or cut the ends
I'm not
off.
gonna cut it and depin it. I don't want to ruin the warranty for the mirror. So it takes a little extra time to. This is the plug-in that goes into the switch. They're super tiny wires. It's more of like almost an electronic request versus basic electrical type wiring. So takes a little extra time and thought process, so it's just not just piled up in there. It's still make it as clean as possible. So those are the kind of things that we're working on. Did you show them the dome light? That's going to be a very nice dome light. Got it installed. It's not wired up yet.
Yeah, it's still loose, but yeah, that's all in there. So that's 2 rows. One goes forward, one goes backwards. It's kind of cool. We had some cheesy strip lights in there before. And then got the dashes pretty much all done. So I had a bunch of holes in there. So I made that panel to cover all those holes up.
That's the fancy mirror switch.
Made a panel and put 2 switches in there. We redid the heated seats. USB. He didn't have any way to charge his phone, so now he does. And then of course I powder coated that panel. So this is all done. This is all wired up now. So you take the dash out, you just pop these plugs, and boop, the whole thing comes out. Super clean, super nice.
We're waiting on a whip.
Whip it good.
And a new light bar, so we can finish the fabrication on those.
Yeah.
Know where the wiring's gonna
I
go.
don't know if we showed the light bar before, but the light bar had like 4-inch bracket, so it's sit right up here, and it totally glared down on his window. He couldn't see a thing, especially when it gets dusty. So this is usually when, oh yeah, so it was that far forward. It was just goofy looking because it was a little too wide. This is usually about as where you want them, or even just a little bit further back. That way the bottom of the light doesn't glare on here. So he ordered a new one that will actually sit in between here and it'll bring it back. So we need to get the plug for that. And then, yeah, so when that shows up, we'll get that going. But today is just a bunch of pulling wires. Can't show all that because that's boring. This would be we got, I don't even know how many hours we have in right now. As of a couple days ago, it was 72 man hours. So, yeah, we're probably close to 100 hours. It's a lot, but it'll be clean and it'll be nice. Well, this is what I did this morning. Oh, my butt sitting here doing all this little deal. So we ended up using the original relays because they already went to what they needed to go to, but rewired them all, aluminum them up, make them nice, and then tied them into the fuses that we have here, and of course the plugs that he had already put over here. So it's all glued up and loomed up nice, running along. And then this will get tied up once we're finished. I got one more wire still have to put in here. That's why it's loose, and then that's all done. And then some of the wires over there I just cleaned off. They're just absolutely ridiculous. Why people do, oh please, why they do this kind of stuff. So this gray wire, which was hither, right here, it has, you know, basically two, at least they did it right with nice little heat shrink type connectors, but two of them within 4 inches, but it's 12 inches too long to start with. That doesn't make any sense. So this was just sitting here all looped around, so I just cut it off, put it back together. It's done. I mean, it took me 2 minutes, but I don't know why they didn't think about that in the beginning. And then these guys, so that guy is 15 inches too long. So that went to the relays for the fan. So they had this looped around and then tied up into itself. And you know, you had to cut it and splice it together anyway. I don't know why they didn't just make it the right length. Just, I don't know, just so weird. So silly fix, just snip it real quick and put it back. I even put it back in the old school plastic sheeting, but at least it's cleaned up and tight. So yeah, this will get kind of tightened down a little bit once we're done. This stuff will all be wrapped up and all that goes in the console, so it's kind of hidden. Some of the stuff we didn't redo because it was already finished and it went to the motor, and this stuff is actually pretty decent. I think that was updated when it went to Buckshot in like 17, something like that. I think that was all updated then, because the rest of the engine stuff is all wrapped up nice, but this was a mess. So pretty clean. And then my boy has been working his butt off in the front, getting all this stuff run. Starting to get all these little guys terminated. And he was working underneath here, trying to get this stuff all done up. Still has to be finished.
Clamp off of that bar, that bolt there.
Radial clamp. Yeah.
We're getting there.
Plugging away.
Oh yeah, all these other fine homes.
And then we got to start drilling holes and running some wires through the bars. So we're getting there. We got a little power over here. That was pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of work. It'll look freaking cool though when we're done. All right, so I guess we are pretty much to the point where we can start pulling wires. So we got all of our holes drilled throughout the whole car. And we already have our pull wire in here. So you can see Mike's put welding wire in there and then these two. So we already have 3 pull wires. And it's very methodical on how this dude right here is
comes all the way
planning
out
all
there.
this stuff out, because you can't, once you start feeding wires in there, it's really hard to get a pull wire back in there. So we put all the pull wires in first, and then we have some wires that are going that way, some wires that are coming back the other way.
Coming out down here. All these. All the way out to the end of this little tube here.
So good thing we thought ahead on that because that would have been hard to get around that corner right there. So we drilled a hole in and then welded that on, but we put the welding wire in there first. So now all we have to do is attach our wire. Once we get it all the way down from the front, it pulls right out of there.
Pretty decent conduit already sitting there ready to use. So I think we got about 18 wires to pull through all the different locations.
Oh, and then let's show them the.
Check this. Do that.
You already break it?
No, I pulled it out. I was playing with it.
So. There we go. We bought some of this cord. You can hardly see it in the black. Some of that flexible cord. It's 18 gauge 4 wire, but it's kind of cool because when you open that up, she stretches out. So you won't worry about having a big loop in there and going up and down with it. And then when it closes, it just stretches back together and then it's closed.
And that way we can have a tail light, brake light.
So yeah, that's all
In the
for
middle.
that. That's all for that one. So we have holes in that, and that runs all around, all the way down to there. And then holes in and out, in and out, in and out. And we got holes over here. So whip, brake lights, tail lights go through here. We have dome light and the cable for the antenna going through here. We got something coming
Tail
through this one.
lights.
Tail lights coming
So
through
they can
this
pick
way.
up the brake light right there in the corner.
We got holes here, and then we
Brake
got
light's coming from that fuse
another
box.
hole down there at the bottom. That was for our brake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
one comes
'cause
up.
It's being manufactured in that box down there.
Yeah. So a lot of thought to plot all this out to get those wires in there the right way.
Everything will come and terminate. Book, up
Right
here.
there. Yeah. And we'll start
Switch Pro
hooking
will
up
be
all those
turning all
wires.
those
Toot, toot,
on.
toot, 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 toot. And we got all the colors coded to the Switch Pro's colors, which is not always industry standard on what components running, but we did match it up with these. So
Yeah, best we
yellow
can.
is yellow, orange is orange. So it's kind of cool.
With the exception of the stuff that's pre-made, like the Baja design lights and
The mirror.
the mirrors
Yeah.
got their own colors.
Yeah. All right. All right. We'll keep pulling. We'll show you guys where we get. All right. Morning. Day 7. Been on it since last Saturday. It's Friday now. And should have a pretty good push today. Starting to get some of this all terminated and lined up. We have a lot of the wires run through the frame. See right there. A lot of this stuff is going where it got to go. And so right now they're just kind of hanging out. So when you string all this stuff, you got to plan ahead. So we put heat shrink in there and the grommets already. So you have to kind of like mold it in there and get all that stuff to fit. So when you're done, it's all nice and tight like that. So that one there, and that one there. So the heat shrink is in there, super tight, and then the grommets are in there. So that's the process. So this is all we're gonna see is these little guys, as opposed to 20,000 zip ties, or in this case, Velcro. Let's see, the wire comes out here for its tail lights. So we still have to string the light for this, and the wires for this. And it's got most of this all laying over here. Yeah, lots of work. This one laying out over here. And then I've been working on terminating the fronts on here. And we have, what do we have? We got wires down there somewhere. That's still kind of a mess, but yeah, all those wires down there are going to the lights, so that's going to get strung up. But, oh my gosh, hold on. That's going to be put through here. And everything will be super nice and straight. So plugging away. Yeah, we've been working basically 11 hours a day. We've been starting at 7 and finishing at 6. So that's, well, 7 times 11, so 77 hours each. So we're 144 hours. Is that the math? 77 times 2. It's a lot. That's what it takes. So we will keep cranking. Show you as we go. Okay, so I went and picked up my headers today. They were done exactly when they said they were going to be done. And got those tips. Showed that on the last video, how I just turned them out a little bit and then just kind of recurved them, and it made 100% difference. So much better now. So those are done, bolted back on. We got rock lights on, wiring. It's all pulled in now. See how clean that is? Little groundlets, heat shrunk, rock lights. So that's done. And what else we got? Wire right there's done. I think the back end's pretty much done. Obviously, we got to hook up the tail light still. We're going to wait till we get the fenders back on for that. And the antenna cabling is in. We got the right antenna on there now. See how that antenna just pokes right into the bar instead of it all dangling. And then the dome light is on. So all these are all finished up, super nice. And this is almost done. We put a extra fuse on here just for added protection. It's a 200 amp fuse. It's kind of like a fusible link on cars. Or actually most cars have like 125 or 175 amp fuses right off the batteries nowadays. So that's kind of what we put that for. That'll protect the whole car. And then Mikey is up here terminating. Because he's the Terminator. I knew that was coming, right?
Heard that.
Are you done yet? How about now? How about now?
Few hundred more wires
How about
to
now?
go.
So, bus bar, like I said before, so sick that everything has its own dedicated ground all the way back to here. And all these are going in nice. What else we have left? Just pretty much those wires.
Yep.
Terminate
All
those
these
wires.
big ones that don't match go to the Baja design lights. But the yellow is going to light up the halos with the rock lights, which are all the blue. So all these are rock lights and halos for the front. They go with the blue on the switch pro.
So our blue matched to the blue, but
Yeah.
theirs not so
Yeah,
much.
there's the yellow. And then these reds go to the Baja designs, and they light whatever you want to call it, a portion of the light, like a fog light portion or a different portion of the light, so we're going to put that on its own switch. The main Baja lights are here, which is the headlights. So that will turn on the headlights. We got those, we got this, and we got this pretty purple
So this
one.
turns on both, right?
Correct. Yeah, so
So-
with Switch Pro, when they have dual wires, you could put the wires together and get 35 amps of circuit protected power. If you split them, which is an acceptable thing to do, you get 17.5 per side. So we got 17.5 coming down this side and 17.5 down that side.
Yeah.
Which is where this one's going to go. So that'll be our headlights. But see how like this one's together, that gives us a 35 amp on the purple for a very powerful light bar. And then that's our purple 12 gauge purple. We'll go with the purple.
12 gauge.
Yeah, it'll go on the purple wire, and that will light the light bar.
Ding!
So yeah, we're close.
We're close.
And then I just gotta loom up the bottom.
You and
make
I
it
are
look
very close, you know.
very close. Loom up the bottom, make it look nice. Then we're ready to stick the dash in and do some testing.
Yeah. So we got a new light bar because The other one was kind of cheesy. It was white and curved and it stuck out too far. So we bought Vision X light bar, and it sits back kind of where it was supposed to. And I made the mounting for it. It's kind of sick, if you asked me. So this small portion right here was like the original bracket. Let me get it up here. Right? So it came down like an L, kind of kicked up at the bottom so you can mount it like flat to a roof or whatever. So I just chopped that off. The actual piece that I chopped off, I added to the bracket sticking out. And then I turned this bung on the old lathe with some threads in there, some 3/8. And obviously this goes perfectly in between the two brackets that are on the car. And then I made this little butching. Hold please. So I just made this out of aluminum, nice little chunk. So recessed to put a little angle on there. And then that's just decorative, but you know, that sits on the outside of the bracket and just nice super clean way to finish it off. So that'll be a nice light bar for him. And then, oh please, let me get this put back on here. So that's the last thing that we put on after we put the roof back on. But yeah, this bracket right here, see how it sits back. And there's actually a reason why they do this like this, because of the glare, especially when you have a windshield. So the old one had that bracket, like we said before, and then it stuck out and it curved, and it was just blinding him. He couldn't even use it. So that's why I bought the new one. Now it sits back over here where it belongs. It actually sits just a little bit further back. So when we turned it on, he casted a shadow, and it's actually over by about where his hand is over there. Like right here is where the shadow casted after it hit the roof. So it should go right over the headlight. It'd be nice. So yeah, plugging away. Getting it done, son. All right, so
Get ready to do a test. Test. One,
we
two.
got, wow, look at that. Look at it, people. You people in YouTube land. Pretty freaking sick, bro. Broham, the Joham. So what are we doing? We're ready to test it.
We're ready to test.
Oh, we got that hooked up. Put a little USB in there. We can
Monitor battery
monitor
voltage.
the battery. That's pretty sick.
So switch Pro.
Switch Pro.
It's just sitting in here for right now. We're just testing. So power on.
Whoa,
Got fuel pump.
I hear fuel pump.
Got some fully functional items.
Dome.
Dome light.
Dome. All right. Headlights. Oh. Okay. Fog. Yeah, those are pretty bright.
Pretty bright.
And what else we got?
Got a
Whip.
whip.
Whip works. Yeah, and we have, oh yeah, we have a tail light.
Headlights on for tail.
Headlight.
There you go.
Yep.
Off.
Yep. Rock lights.
Rock lights are on. Oh, got the halo up here with the rock lights. It's working.
That's right, I forgot about that.
That's cool.
And some rock lights are on.
He wanted white, so he's got white
Oh, that's
light.
pretty neat looking.
Yeah, that's cool. Brake light. Just check a brake light.
Brake light.
Check a brake light.
Check a brake light.
All right.
Hold please.
Rock lights off.
Okay.
Brake.
And
Brake.
brake lights. Works.
Cool.
That's sick. Start it up.
See if it'll start. How about that? Clear.
Clear.
Start. Brand new headers sound good.
That's right.
Well, they're not brand new, but they're
We
pretty.
got to run those in a little bit and get them hot so they bake in.
Make them.
This thing sounds good.
That's everything. We just got to get the body on so we can do the, get the body on.
We did it.
That's a
We're
lot of
doing
hours of work right there.
It is a lot of hours. What did I say? We added it up 142,
Yeah, something like that.
142 man hours.
Man hours, yeah.
That's both of us.
Get the body on so we can get the tail lights and the other brake lights wired up. But everything works. I'm excited.
Oh, and then we switch this guy. Boop.
Yep, that
And a
turns
little
off.
power up there went off.
Yep. On.
Works. Dude, we're there.
A lot of cleaning up to do.
Yeah, we do.
And
Oh yeah, look at
assembly.
this. Look at this little array of
Array of
arrayness.
stuff.
So that's what we pulled out. And that's actually threw away half of it already. I kind of forgot. Look, I should leave
Yeah.
that out.
Normally we video our pile of.
Well, here's some bunch right there. Bunch of junk. So today's Friday. We started last Saturday. We'll be done tomorrow. So Saturday to Saturday, every single day, pretty much 11 hours a day. And
But it works when you
this is
first
the
test
result.
it, so that's cool.
this is the way we do it right here. Super clean, super functional. Unfortunately, the cover goes over this, and
Never
you
see it
literally
again.
never see this again.
Yeah.
But we know it's right. Customer know it's right, safe, and access to this panel back here. It's all of the fuses are in one spot. Yeah. That's all you have to worry about. So behind the seat, you can reach in, and underneath there, you can reach in to if something blows. And we'll have it labeled on the box. Where's the box? Here's the box. So they'll have it labeled, so if something goes out, he can just pull the box off and look at the labels and then figure out which one it is. So.
And we got two extra relays in there for future expansion and
Future.
and 3 fuses, extra fuses. So that's cool.
Yeah.
You don't have to take nothing
For
apart.
massage seats. Or...
We can add whatever we want to add. I put it on a pigtail down there. So if something needs to be added, it can quickly be added.
Quickly.
Added it in.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm super stoked on how these headers turned out. God, they were hideous. I'll put a little clip in from my last video if you didn't see it, how ugly the turndowns were. All right. Oh, we got to do the mirrors still, huh? They're
Yeah, I just didn't plug them in
they're
yet.
hooked up, but they're not plugged in.
Yeah, the connector's a little funky. And I'm
Let's see how
afraid
those mirrors work.
it'll be hard to get it unplugged. Look at that little baby thing.
It's little.
I don't want to
tiny.
plug it in until we're ready.
We'll do one and done on that.
One and done.
When it's
I
ready.
mean, it's all factory, so
Yeah.
they should work just fine.
We got a mess to clean up. All right. Almost finished. Thanks for sticking with us, guys. If you like this kind of stuff, now is a great time to smash that subscribe button. And
How's our board looking over
a
here?
little like, and then tell Mike what a great job he did on this.
Look, so Switch Pro
It'll
works.
go to his head. Oh, we have a board. That's
Switch
right.
Pro works. Dash harness is done. Baja lights
The
are wired
Bajas.
and working. Fuse panels wired and working. Mirrors are installed. Mirrors are wired, just not plugged in. Brake light switch is clearly functional. It's all wired. Antennas in and
Put a check
wired.
on there.
Third brake light mounting is done. Third brake light wiring is done. Rock lights.
Done.
Rock lights are wired and
Done.
functioning. Dome lights installed
Done.
and wired. We pulled wired and they're all
Done.
terminated. And we just got to get the seats and put the car back together.
And one more thing.
One more.
We gotta add
It's
to the
always one
list.
more thing. Oh, yeah, we got to get paid.
We got to get paid, baby.
Put in a hard week's work. Got to get paid.
Update. All right, we are almost done. So we got seats in, center console, dash, We have seat belts on that side to finish. But all this is done. And everything works. It's freaking cool. This is all cleaned up, wired up. This is the way it's going to sit. There's a cover that goes over everything. So literally we'll never see this stuff again, which is kind of sad because it's so cool. But so much cleaner now. But yeah, to get the dash out, a couple of bolts, a couple of plugs, and it just pops right out. It's pretty neat. So we had to put the side panels on, which is a little bit of a pain in the butt. When the side panel goes on, this big fender goes on, and that's where the tail lights are at. And then he has to wire up these. And we got to put the roof on and the hood on. That's it. But everything does work and starts, and the mirrors turned out really cool. When you hit the button, you have a little boop. That little thing kicks on. It's pretty neat. And then where's this one? So that has a little halo on there. It's kind of hard to tell because it's so bright. But that's just the outside. And I think that changes colors, does all kinds of stuff. And then what does this one do? Oh, the middle one. There we go. Yeah, it's super bright. And then that one and that one. So it has a little side one and then both fronts. So yeah, those are really, really cool feature. And it's also neat because this part moves however you want. So you can actually put the beam where you want it. So if you wanted to tilt this down a little bit so it shines on the ground a little bit more, the inner part actually moves also. So you're not having to adjust your mirror or the whole entire mirror for this part. You can do them separate. So that's actually a pretty neat feature. But yeah, you can get the side panels on next, and then we got to put the little front panels on. There's a lot of panels. Panel. But looking good. All right. Finally done. Cleaned her up a little bit. That was 8 straight days, Saturday to Saturday, 11 hours a day for 2 people. A lot of work, a lot of money, but it's very nice. We got the headers done, had them redone with the tips a little bit, mounted up one brake, one tail light, Put a little support in here. Put a third brake light on here, which is pretty cool. It's all clean running through here. And we got our little stretchy cord. Turned out pretty neat. Put all the bodies back on. Put all the seat belts back in there. Got those tied up, so that was a pain in the butt. And then the dash turned out real nice. Got the switch probe mounted right there. Then this seat heaters, new seat heaters are right there. The mirror and his USB charging, powder coated his bezel, and then made that cover for the other side. But all the wiring is all cleaned up and off of here, and not having those black straps all over the whole entire roof. These things are cool. Really nice lights. They're super bright. So yeah, whew. This little bezel turned out pretty cool. Kind of a neat way to cover some ugly old holes. And then put on that quick release power steering or steering wheel hub. Didn't have one of those before, so that's it. So I know the first one was pretty long. Like I said before, I kind of got lost track of where I was on the footage. We were just shooting, but when you're out here for basically two people for 162 hours, I think it was, it's easy to lost track. I think this one's probably shorter, although I haven't made it yet. It feels like it's a little shorter. But anyway, I really appreciate you guys subscribing. The numbers have been going up, so that's awesome. And I've been getting some work off of this channel, so it's freaking cool because I love doing this. It's a lot better than a brake job on a Honda, if you know what I'm saying. So I got a couple more. Actually, I got another electrical one this guy hit me up for this day ago. So get that one in here, and yeah, we just keep plugging away. So if you got any comments or something that I can answer for you, you can get a hold of me on Facebook or Instagram. Those are on my YouTube channel. But I just appreciate you guys. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching this stuff. And we'll see you on the next one.